How do you think the rollout of connected TVs will impact your business and businesses like you?
Well, connected TVs and smart TVs and bringing the web to the television is just another example of the overall bigger trend that we've seen over the last 5 to 10 years, which is people spend more time on the web than they do other places. Now when they're even looking at their TV, they're not watching traditional television content, they're looking at the web. So the connected TV just adds a multiplier to the importance of what we're doing, which is now that people have the internet on TV, they go to YouTube. They search. You can search on YouTube from your TV now. You can actually go to a browser. You can look things up. So the way that people go about solving their problems and getting answers to questions, looking for videos, looking for content, that doesn't change. Connected TV just adds a multiplier to that, which means that getting found organically only is more important now than it's ever been before.
Looking forward to the next 3 to 5 years in the media landscape in general, can you give me some predictions? Where do you think it'll be?
Sure. I think that the trend that we have been seeing is going to continue to grow, and that the web is going to consume 95% of people's time with their exposure to the media, and as part of that, people are going to have even a stronger preference and get smarter and smarter about what is good content, what is bad content, what are ads and what are not ads. So I think that the trend of consumers interacting with organic content over paid content is going to continue to grow. And from a company's perspective, I think that companies are going to start to reorganize their marketing teams. So today, marketing teams are very siloed in the sense where you've got people who make content, you've got people who make it so content gets found, you've got your social teams, you've got these very disparate sets of teams that are focused on different functional areas. And I think that companies are going to reorganize, and they're going to have a dedicated team that's focused on managing paid dollars, that are trying to figure out how do I make it so my paid media works across all different channels, that's search, social, display, all those things work together, and there's going to be a single owner to that. And then I think on the organic side, they're going to reorganize around a very common mission, which is, who is my customer, what is my customer looking for, and how do I make sure in any place where I can't buy the customer that I am showing up. And that's going to be a combination of an SEO team, a content marketing team, and in some cases analytics and social will play into that as well. And this team will be called either a web presence management team, it might be called an inbound marketing team, but this is a team that will exist and will ultimately be reformed from a subset of teams that exist today.
How do you think the silos between digital and traditional media like television and print and radio, how do you think that will fare in the next 5 years? Do you see a breakdown of the silos of that?
Sure. Silos exist because you have to make the trade-off is get everybody doing the same thing, then you get nothing done. Put people in a silo, you get some things done, but they don't work as collaboratively. So they make sense, and I think that there will be more information sharing. One thing in particular is that on the traditional side of media and advertising and marketing, they've done a really good job for many companies of actually doing research on who my customers are, what are their different personas, what's the demographic data that make up a certain customer versus other ones, what are their different preferences. And that information is not just for doing expensive media buying. That information can be extremely helpful with creating content online. So for example, when you're creating content for a specific type of persona, you're more likely to create something that persona is going to be interested in, versus if you've got a product and you create one piece of content that's designed for all the different potential consumers of that content, then you're likely to not make anybody happy. So I think using that research that they've done about who their customer is and then applying that to how they get smarter with actually doing real marketing online instead of just trying to optimize people when they're ready to buy, I think hopefully that will happen, and that will make online marketing teams much more effective.
Seth, what is your opinion about programmatic?
If you look at these big landscapes of all the different types of companies that exist to make your banner ads effectively more targeted, it's just amazing how many there are. And while there's always going to be something that's better than the next thing, and you can keep making improvements, there's an undertone where when you look at the data, people don't click on banner ads. When was the last time you clicked on a banner ad? So I think that programmatic, and obviously it's better than doing things manual and doing non-targeted direct buys. But from Conductor's perspective, we're not trying to help companies with their display advertising. We're helping them trying to figure out a new way to reach customers that's actually beneficial to customers.
In terms of banner ads, what do you see their future? Do you think they're dying out?
Is the banner ad dead? I don't think so. I think that marketers continue to invest huge amounts of money into display advertising, and then there are ways to make it effective and make it measurable. And I think that there's a whole bunch of other forms of media that were likely to die before the banner ad dies. And more importantly, we need display advertising to make the internet work. A lot of great journalists and publishers would be out of business without display advertising. So we need it to work. Our thinking at Conductor is more that if your only way to reach customers is using display advertising, then that's probably not going to be a successful strategy for the years to come. You need to have diversification. You need to be on the left side and you need to be on the right side.